Following on from last week's episode where I talked about Theme Park World and Theme Park Inc., I only briefly mentioned Theme Hospital, and although it was the obvious evolution and very much deserved its time in the complete history of Theme Park, I spent so much time with the game and had so much fun with it that I felt it deserved its very own video. So, before you continue with this video, I highly suggest you check out Theme Park first. And 3, 2, 1, your time's up. Let's take a look at the complete history of Theme Hospital. Welcome to Slope's Game Room. Did I tell you I loved this game? Let me elaborate on that a little bit with a story. I, Daniel Ibbotson, have always looked at hard work. Okay, maybe not hard work as such. Change that for just having a job. I, Daniel Ibbotson, have always looked at having a job as a sort of necessity and an important part of adult life. In fact, I can take pride in saying out of all of the crazy amount of jobs I've had over the years, from the more impressive club promoter, DJ and TV personality, I've also worked on the opposite end of the scale with such jobs as egg farmer, ice cream packer and call centre scum. I can personally take pride in saying I've never been out of work longer than a week. Well, that's actually not 100% true. You see, there was one period of about a month after I lost my job in a diamond factory during the mid-noughties that I picked up Theme Hospital in a bargain bin with a few other retro PC games and became absolutely hooked. Closing the curtains during a lovely summer's day, building up hundreds of dirty old energy drink cans, fast food wrappers and no doubt smelling worse than Jack the Nipper's nappy, I became very much obsessed with this game and completely shut myself away from the outside world. Starting that same game over and over and over again, trying to do it better next time. Theme Hospital not only almost actually made me ill with filth, but it made me forget about Theme Park, which is better. Well, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. But hold up. Before you do, I think we're in fact getting a little ahead of ourselves. So, let's go back to the beginning. Hospitals. Okay, let me try that again. Hospitals. One more time. Hospitals. Woo! Nope, there's no making this fun. And after the roller coaster success of the theme park covered business simulator, a new simulation game set in a boring hospital with tiled floors, plain walls, the odd table, vending machine and overpriced cafeteria wasn't really doing it for the soon-to-be designer of the game, Mark Webley, the guy that actually put the idea forward. Now, just like last time where Molyneux and his crew went around different theme parks to get a feel for the environment that they would eventually put into the game, they did the very same thing, this time at the Royal Surrey County Hospital. And they was bored. Nobody likes hospitals. And when they asked about getting shown around formally, the hospital said they would only do it if they got a cut of the profits of the game. Well, at this point, there was no game, just a very boring concept. So, Mark and Gary Carr, the eventual lead artist, wrote to another hospital, one Fimley Park Hospital, who welcomed the idea, showing the inner workings of the place and even let them put on some scrubs and watch some live surgery. Although according to an interview with Retro Gamer, they found the sight and noise of it all so unpleasant that the head surgeon performing the operation ordered to get those idiots out. Then, after the duo watched some spinal surgery and visited the morgue, they had finally seen enough. The original idea of making a fairly realistic hospital simulator flew out of the window, and in place came a far more funny, light-hearted approach to the whole game concept. And, as you may have guessed, the idea of having real diseases and illnesses quickly vanished too, in place for some wacky made up ones, but we'll get to those in a minute. Now the only problem was the NHS, the National Health Service. It was loved by some and not so much by others. Bullfrog didn't want to give off the impression of taking one side or another, and with the game being made in the UK, they was very worried that they would offend someone, and taking a light-hearted, almost comical approach was most definitely the way to go. On top of this, they decided to make the game not only challenging like the one before it, but more importantly for the player to always feel like it's your own fault, and not the system's. Looking back at my personal smelly history with the game, I think they nailed it. I was always trying to work out where I went wrong and what I could do better to run a more impressive hospital, no matter how hard it got. In Theme Hospital, there is always something to do, always some kind of emergency waiting to pop up at any moment. And in that regard, it's very much like the real thing. You never know what's going to be coming through those doors next. But on top of this was all the usual icing on the cake that made Theme Park before it so bloody great. The stuff you don't think about at first. Like, do you have enough toilets? Do the guests and patients have enough vending machines? Is the hospital becoming too messy? Do you have enough staff? All those good micromanagey type things. Instead of having that exciting feeling of unlocking a new ride or attraction, this time the excitement comes in the form of what messed up patient you're going to have to deal with next, and the still to this day hilarious way you're going to cure them. It's easy nowadays to see why I love this game so much and why I got into it at such a late period of my life. The game was essentially just another business simulator with a humorous twist. You're not running a hospital, you're running a business. And if it takes a little longer to cure that disease in place of a few more vending machines, then so be it. We're not a charity, The developers quickly worked out that it's not how good your hospital/business is, it's how good people think it is. Everything that seemed to work first time, they did again. In fact, they even borrowed a decent amount of the code used in that original game to make this one. So, in other words, if you like that game, you're gonna like this one too. In fact, the whole process was so well made up from the very beginning that the development, according to the same interview, wasn't that hard at all. The team would get together once a week at a local pub and go through everything that needed to be done next time. This gave the team plenty of time to come up with ideas. Too many ideas in fact, and because of this, some of them never made it due to the time limits of its shipping. For instance, the 4 time zones that the hospital would be set in, including a future hospital, and I'm assuming a prehistoric one too. These obviously had to be scrapped. There was even a screen where you could actually make up your own cure using different coloured liquids, which you would then add onto the cures you already have to gain variable results. And of course, as you can imagine, a fair few quirky illnesses didn't make the cut too. Sure, the Elvis impersonator was cut early and changed to the King complex for legal reasons, but the illness animal magnetism, where the patient would turn up with cats and dogs attached to them, was also sadly cut. But the game eventually came out, and it was a hit. Perhaps not as big as Theme Park, sure, but it was a worthy sequel to carry the theme name. And yes, I had no idea what aquarium was until very recently. But hey, at least Japan understood. Sadly, those worries of upsetting supporters of the NHS went ahead and happened anyway. In fact, regardless of the great reviews that the game got, NHS officials actually claimed that the game was poking fun at hospital staff as well as its ill patients. Now, I don't know about you, but I have personally never seen someone suffering from bloaty head or hairyitis, king complex or invincibility. Okay, well maybe I have, who knows. Regardless, I personally think that Theme Hospital was made not to make fun at anyone or any organisations, but instead just to be a brilliant business simulator sugar-coated with excellent British humour that sticks its forceps deep into all who have played it. Hey there guys, thanks for checking out the video. A big special thanks goes out to Matthew Ritter, Ryan Burford, Ted Kimmel, Ian A. Chapman, Phil Lowlins, Downright Superb, James Loveridge, Casey Garner, Blitz Hedgie, Ben Hall, Taylor Almond, Team Not Crash and Tiago Piera dos Santos Silva. If you want to be part of this list, then please go check out my Patreon where you'll be able to see this and other upcoming videos as they're being made, as well as being involved with every month's Q&A. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's up to you. But for now, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully, I'll see you all next time.